Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our pre-meeting conference. To start, may I request everyone to please stand for our opening prayer.
Is in the words committee chairperson. Lastly, we encourage everyone. Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering us here today for this pre-bidding conference. We acknowledge your guidance and wisdom in every step of our work, especially as we discuss and evaluate matters concerning our civil works projects. Grant us clarity of mind, integrity, and fairness in our deliberations.
May every word we speak and every decision we make reflect honesty, transparency, and a genuine desire to serve the public good.
Bless all participants, the members of the Bids and Awards Committee, the technical working groups, the secretariats, and our prospective bidders. May this conference be conducted in an orderly, productive, and meaningful manner, leading to successful projects that benefit our communities. We entrust this meeting to you, Lord. Guide us in upholding righteousness and accountability in all that we do. All these we ask in your mighty name. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you. And at this juncture, may I request the Secretariat to please read the attendance or the determination of the quorum.
State President remains roll. Discipline Churchill present. U.S. Nare present. Nilo Green present. Grace Lee Tawala present. Mary Nuri Presines. Mary S. Soy. Virgo Machuelo present. Jason Estafia present. Silvestre Matuyo. Gilbert Sabandal. Jay Raya. Maya Perez Mano. Maya Rizal Purican. Alma Maria Banda. Amy G. Divino. Earl Darren Scarifusa Person. Neil Dia Araneta. Joseph Maya Vice President. Charmaine M. For this PBD conference, there's a total of 19 attendees with 3 representatives from interested leaders or contractors, and 4 out of 5 members are present with the presence of the Vice Chair of the Vice.
Thank you. Since 4 out of 5 members of the BAC are present, we declare this meeting a quorum with the presence also of our technical working group and our secretariat, with 3 representatives from interested leaders. So, for our next agenda, we are going to, we welcome you, by the way, to our pre-bidding conference for 4 civil works projects. The following projects, we have here our number 1 project, which is 24HA0179, construction of Bohol Convention Center, Barangay Tawala, Panglao, Bohol, Phase 14. Approved budget for the contract is 9,800,000, with a contract duration of 180 calendar days. And to discuss details regarding this project, I will turn over the time to Engineer Kyle Balilihan.
Good morning, everyone. The project title is Construction of Bohol Convention Center, Barangay Tawala, Panglao, Bohol, Phase 14. Appropriation is 10 million, and the total project duration is 180 days. For the scope of work, so approved budget for the contract. So part A, provision of field of office for the engineer and the operation and maintenance of
field office for the engineer. Quantity is 6 months for both. Part B, other general requirements of project field board, 2 each, and then occupational safety and health, and mobilization and demobilization is thumbs up. For earthworks, removal of structures and obstruction, structure excavation, hard rock, and then embankment from roadway, structure excavation. Also embankment from borrow, common soil, and then gravel fill. For part D, reinforced concrete works, structural concrete 3000 PSI, class A 28 days, and then reinforced concrete. So reinforcing steel is reformed grade 40 and reinforcing steel grade 60. And for works and post works, 180.4 square meters. For part E, masonry works, CHD non-load bearing, including reinforcing steel 100 mm, 177.4 square meters. And then for CHD non-load bearing, including reinforcing steel 150 millimeters, 95.4 square meters. For part F, carpentry and joinery works, so ceiling 4.5, metal frame, fiber cement board, that's 92 square meters. Ceiling, metal frame, pre-painted metal panel, 171.8 square meters. For wall, 4.5 metal frame, fiber cement board, 9.7 square meters, and linoleum board, 24 square meters. For finishing works, we have glaze tiles and trims, 139.4 square meters, and glaze tiles, 4 square meters. Cement plaster finish, 461.10 square meters. And then for miscellaneous hardware, metal structure accessories, we have 1 lump sum. Then metal structure accessories per buckle, 24 each. Then metal structure accessories cross bracing, 117.2 kilograms. For steel plates, we have 2,548.8 kilograms. Structural steel lump sum. Structural steel mattresses, 3,249.5 kilograms. For purlins, 1,873.4 kilograms. Then railings, lump sum. And then part I, for the roofing works, we have fabricated metal roofing accessory, gauge 26, flashing, 44.2 linear meter. Fabricated metal roofing accessory, gauge 24, gutters, 49.8 linear meter. And then pre-painted metal sheets, about 0.427 millimeters in type long span, 290.5 square meters. So for doors and windows, finishing hardware, lump sum, and then aluminum frame glass door swing type, that's 16 square meters. For aluminum glass window sliding type, 11.6 square meters. Aluminum glass window awning type, 6 square meters. And for frames, jam seals heads, mullions, 3 sets. And for doors, wood panel, 5.7 square meters. For part K, storm drainage and sewerage system, sewer line works and storm drainage downspout, 1 lump sum. And for plumbing works, we have plumbing fixtures and cold water lines. For electrical works, we have conduits, boxes, and fittings. And then wires and wiring devices, panel board with main and branch breakers, and lighting fixtures. So lump sum, and then painting works. So painting works for masonry or concrete. We have 1,069.7 square meters. Painting works for wood, 16 square meters. And then for steel, 1,242 square meters. And then lastly, part 2 mechanical work, we have air conditioning system package / split light. So lump sum. Any
Thank you, Kyle. Is there any clarification that the attendees would like to raise? Hearing none, let us proceed to the second project with contract ID number 25HA0131 with contract name Construction of School Building Balilihan Central Elementary School, Balilihan Bohol, with approved budget for the contract of 14,925,000 and contract duration of 135 calendar days. For the details of this project, let me turn over the time to Engineer Earl Calipusa.
Good morning, everyone. For the project construction of school building, Balilihan Central Elementary School, Balilihan Bohol, with a appropriation of 14,962,500, with a project duration of 135 days. The EPC of 19,925,000. For the scope of works, provision of field office for the engineer for 4.5 months, operation and maintenance field office for the engineer 4.5 months, permits and clearances, project billboard or signboard, occupational safety and health, mobilization and immobilization, surplus common excavation, structural excavation, hard rock, embankment from roadway or structural excavation, hard rock, embankment from barrow, common soil, gravel field, structural concrete, 3,000 PSI, class A, 28 days, reinforced concrete, reinforcing steel, grade 40, formworks and poles work, soil poisoning, CHP non-load bearing 100 mm, HP non-load bearing 150 mm, ceiling 4.5 mm metal frame, fiber cement board, carpentry engineering works, molding, waterproofing liquid, glaze tiles and trims, and glaze tiles, cement plaster finish, metal structure accessories, turnbuckle, metal structure accessories cross bracing, metal structure accessories steel plates, structural steel trusses, structural steel purlins, railing, fabricated metal roofing accessories, gauge 26, range or hip rolls, fabricated metal roofing accessory, flashing, pre-painted metal sheets, corrugated long span, finishing hardware, steel window, aluminum glass windows, non-type, jealousy windows, glass, frames, doors, flush, doors, wood panel, catch basin, sewer line works, storm drainage and downspout, septic bulb, plumbing fixtures, cold water lines, conduits, boxes and fittings, wires and wiring devices, panel board with main and branch breakers, lighting fixtures. Painting works, masonry or concrete, painting works wood, painting works steel. Oscillating fan, ceiling fan, exhaust fan, fire extinguisher for 40 to 40 kg, APC with bracket, fire alarm system, and water tank polyethylene. That's all for the
Okay, thank you, Earl. Is there any clarification from the attendees? Hearing none, let us proceed to the third project. With contract ID number 25HA0132, completion, upgrading, repair, and equipping RHU SHC Balilihan Health Unit Bohol with approved budget of the contract 9,950,000 and a duration of 210 calendar days. For the details of this project, again, we turn over the time to Engineer Kyle Telefeca.
So, moving on again, for the project completion, upgrading, repairing, with equipping of RHU Balilihan Bohol. So the appropriation is 10 million with a project duration of 210 days. The scope of works are Part A, provision of field office for the engineer, rental basis, and operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer, 7 months. For Part B, project billboard, 2 each, and then occupational safety and health, and organization and rehabilitation. For earthworks, the removal of structures and obstruction, structure excavation, 43.5 cubic meter, embankment from roadway, 322 cubic meter, embankment from borrow or common soil, and gravel fill. For Part C, we have structural concrete 3000 PSI, class A 28 days, then reinforcing steel reform grade 40 and grade 60, and formworks and false works 165.6 square meters. For masonry works, we have CHD non-load bearing, including reinforcing steel, 100 mm, 24.6 square meters, and 150 mm, 6.7 square meters. For carpentry and joinery works, so the carpentry and joinery works and wall 10 mm metal frame fiber cement board. For finishing works, cement plaster finish 62.6 square meters. Miscellaneous hardware, metal structure accessories, turnbuckle 14 each, cross bracing 116.10 kilograms, steel plates 559 kilograms, and structural steel purlins 339.1 kilograms. For roofing works, we have fabricated metal roofing accessory, gauge 26 flashing, and for gauge 24 for gutters, and pre-painted metal sheet about 0.427 millimeters corrugated pipe, long span 123.6 square meters. For doors and windows, finishing hardware, window accessory, frames, doors, wood panel, and aluminum frame glass door. For electrical work, we have conduits, boxes and fittings, wires and wiring devices, and CCTV system. For painting works, we have painting works for masonry, 942.6 square meters, for wood, 450 square meters, and for steel, for 691.5 square meters. And lastly, for mechanical works, air conditioning system, package, split type. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Kyle. Is there any clarification you want answered? Hearing none, let us proceed to the next project. Last but not the least for today, you have contract ID number 25HA0133, repair and rehabilitation of classrooms, Bagongbanua Elementary School, Tubigon, Bohol, with the approved budget for the contract amounting to 7 million and a duration of 165 calendar days. For the details of this project, once again, let us turn over the time to Earl California.
Another project, repair rehabilitation of classrooms, Bagongbanua Elementary School, Tubigon, Bohol, the appropriation of 17,017,587 and 94 cents. The project duration of 165 days. Approved budget for the contract of 7 million. For the scope of work, facilities for the engineer, provision of field office for the engineer, operation and maintenance of field office for the engineer, permits and clearances, project billboard or signboard, occupational safety and health, mobilization and demobilization, approval of structures and obstruction, structure excavation, hard rock, embankment from roadway, excavation, hard rock, carbon field, structural concrete, 3,000 PSI, last day 28 days, in 460, grade 40, in 460, grade 60, formworks and poles works. For masonry works, HP na load bearing 150 mm. For carpentry and joinery works, ceiling 4.5 mm, wood frame, marine plywood, wall 4.5 mm, wood frame, marine plywood, carpentry and joinery works. For finishing works, cement plaster finish. For miscellaneous hardware, metal structure accessories, steel plates. For roofing works, fabricated metal roofing, bridge rolls, fabricated metal roofing accessory, flashing, pre-painted metal sheets, corrugated long span. For doors and windows, finishing hardware, jealousy windows, glass, frames, doors, glass. For painting works, masonry. For concrete, painting works. For wood, and painting works for steel. That's all for this scope of works.
Thank you, Earl. Is there any comments and clarification that the attendees would like to raise? Hearing none, let us proceed to the next agenda. For the bidding requirements. Review of requirements of bidding documents. The contractor shall use the prescribed standard forms posted in the FieldJobs and DPWH website and issued in the bid documents. Second, bidders shall enclose their technical documents described in IPD Clause 12 in one sealed envelope marked technical component and the financial component in another sealed envelope marked financial component, sealing them all in an outer envelope marked bid. Next, the bidders are encouraged to have their bid documents neatly bound, paginated, properly sequenced, and provided with simple ear tags to facilitate examination of the bids. Next, review of documents to be submitted by the bidder, bid form, technical, and financial proposals. The technical proposal shall contain, but not limited to, the following. First, FieldJobs certificate of registration, platinum membership, PCAB license and registration in case of joint venture. Next, statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Next, statement of the bidder's SLCC. The SLCC shall be supported by an owner certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor for a final rating of at least satisfactory in the contractor's Constructor's Performance Evaluation System, open close parenthesis CPES, or a similar performance and monitoring system. In case of contracts with the private sector, an equivalent document shall be submitted. The organizational chart for the contract and not the firm's organizational chart. The organizational chart shall reflect the key personnel assigned to the contract. Next, list of contractors' personnel. For example, the project manager, project engineer, materials engineer, safety officer, foreman, and first aider. Those are to be assigned in the contract to be bid with their complete qualification and experience data. Also, to be attached are the letter of nominee, certificate of employment, and value data for each pledged key personnel. Next is the NFCC computation. Next, joint venture agreement, if applicable. Next is the bid security in the prescribed form and amount in accordance with ITB Clause 16 of validity period under ITB Clause 15. Next is the omnibus sworn statement in the prescribed form. Next is the ISO 9001:2015 certification, if applicable. Next is the organizational chart for the contract and not the firm's organizational chart. The organizational chart shall reflect the key personnel assigned to the contract. Next is the list of contractors' personnel. Project manager, project engineer, materials engineer, safety officer, foreman, and first aider to be assigned to the contract to be bid, with a complete qualification and experience data. Also to be attached are the letter of nominee, certificate of employment, and value data for each pledged key personnel. As per memorandum dated November 19, 2025, to ensure the compliance with Section 82 of the Implementing Rules and Regulations of Republic Act Number 12009, otherwise known as the New Government Procurement Act, on the Declaration of Beneficial Ownership, all are hereby directed to include in the issued bidding documents under ITB Block .1 the project requirements, the mandatory submission of the following documents. First, latest general information sheet reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission for corporations. And second, sworn statement of eligibility and beneficial ownership following the template attached as Annex A for all bidders, including sole proprietorship. Next, 14.2A, open close parenthesis 8 and open close parenthesis B. The minimum work experience requirements for the key personnel are the following. For project manager, minimum is 3, similar experience of the same position. Minimum for total work experience, same position, 5 years. Project engineer, minimum of similar experience, same position, 3. Minimum years of total work experience, same position, 5. Materials engineers, minimum year of similar experience, 3. Minimum years of total work experience, same position, 5. Minimum experience for foreman, same position, 3. Minimum years of total work experience, same position, 5. Safety officer, minimum years of similar experience, 3. Minimum years of total work experience, 5. For first aider, minimum year of similar experience, same position, 2. Minimum years of total work experience, 2. General requirements for all key personnel. We have the key personnel should meet the following number of years work experience. The experience means total years of civil works experience for any nature in construction and engineering works and or consultancy services. Next, include the tax identification number of all key personnel in the biodata. For additional requirements for project engineer, we need the photocopy of current and valid PRC license to include the contract number of the project engineer and proof of accreditation. Additional requirements for materials engineer is the accreditation certificate and attach a photocopy of current and valid PRC license to include the contract number of materials engineer. Additional requirement for safety officer is the certificate of completion and of construction and safety and health course for site safety engineers. Additional requirements for first aider is their certificate of training issued by the Red Cross. For the list of contractors' major construction and laboratory equipment units to be assigned to the contract supported by certificates of availability using the prescribed format, which are owned, leased, and/or under purchase agreements, supported by proof of ownership and certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor and/or vendor for the duration of the project, and certifications from the vendors that the equipment units under purchase agreement shall be available for the contract. The contractor should also have a point of reference for his equipment or indicate the location for verification. Next, the contractor shall include his laboratory equipment to be pledged to the contract. The list of laboratory apparatus and/or equipment should be enumerated in detail. The financial documents shall contain the bid form, bid prices, detailed estimates, summary sheets indicating construction materials unit prices, labor rates and equipment rental rates, summary of bid prices, and cash flow by quarter or month. The bidder shall submit to the procuring entity as part of its bid a bid securing declaration or any form of bid security in amount equal to a percentage of the approved budget for the contract in accordance with the following amount. Form for cash or cashier's manager's check issued by a bank. The minimum amount is 2% of the ABC. For bank draft or guarantee or a revocable letter of credit issued by a bank, provided, however, that it shall be confirmed or authenticated by a bank if issued by a foreign bank, it is 5% of ABC. For surety bond callable on demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission as authorized to issue such security, the minimum amount is 5% of the ABC. Explanation of criteria for eligibility screening, preliminary examination of bids, evaluation of bids, and post-qualification. To be eligible for the contract, a contractor must meet the following eligibility requirements. Letter A, Filipino citizens and/or sole proprietorships, cooperatives and partnerships or organizations with at least 60% interest or outstanding capital stock belonging to citizens of the Philippines. Letter B, completion of similar contract costing at least 50% of the ABC within 5 years from the date of submission and receipt of bids. And letter C, the net financial contracting capacity at least equal to the ABC. Letter D, registered with and classified by the Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board with pickup license category of depending on the approved budget for the contract. Eligibility screenings will be conducted electronically in the district office by the BAC with the assistance of the technical working group through the Civil Works application. The contractor shall attach his PhilJEP certificate of platinum registration and membership. Per GPPB Resolution 15-2021 dated October 14, 2021, the PhilJEP certificate of platinum registration and membership must be updated with the current Class A eligibility documents covered under Section 8.5.2 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Failure to comply results in the automatic suspension of its validity. Moreover, the submission of updated Class A documents, registration certificate, mayor's permit and/or business permit, tax clearance, pickup license, and audited financial statements as part of the bid is no longer acceptable. The DPWH will use non-discretionary pass-fail criteria in the preliminary examination of bids, evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. The award criterion for the project will be LCRB, or the lowest calculated responsive bid. If the Bid and Awards Committee determine that the bidder with the LCB passes all the criteria for post-qualification, it shall declare the said bid as the lowest calculated responsible bid and recommend to the award of contract to the said bidder. That contractors under small a and small b categories without similar experience on the contract to be bid may be allowed to bid if the cost of such contract is not more than the allowable range of contract cost of their registration based on the guidelines as prescribed by the Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board. The bidder with the lowest calculated responsive bid will be required to submit to the procuring entity within 10 calendar days from this receipt of the notice of award the following documents. First, notice of award with the bidder's signed conformity. Next, authority of signing official and board resolution and/or secretary certificate. Next, for a joint venture, contractors pick up special joint venture license and joint venture agreement. Next is the performance security. Next, construction methods. Next, construction schedule in the form of per CPM diagram or precedence diagram and bar chart with S-curve and cash flow. Next is the manpower schedule. Next is equipment utilization schedule. Next is the contractor's all-risk insurance and order. Latest income tax and business reports. Next is for a local contractor, certification under oath stating that the contractor is free and clean of all tax liabilities. Next is submission of the construction safety and health program shall be in accordance with Department Order number 241 series of 2024. In the case of the failure, refusal, or inability of the bidder with the lowest calculated responsive bid to submit the required documents within the prescribed period, through its own fault, the BAC will be constrained to post-disqualify the said bidder and shall initiate and complete the post-qualification process on the bidder with the second lowest calculated bid. Reminders to the interested bidders on the relevant department orders. 8.1 Department Order number 9 series of 2012, wherein it states among others that item 6, if a proposed key technical personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that the personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded the contract, and he or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office. Item 7, the bidder may propose a key technical personnel who is not its employee, provided that the said personnel is required to submit a certification that he and or she will work for the bidder if it is awarded the contract under bidding. The certification under item 6 or item 7 shall be included in the first envelope of the sealed bid. 8.2 Department Order number 127, series of 2018, where it states among others that the result of the contractor's performance evaluation system, CPES, shall also be considered by the BAC in determining the responsiveness of the contractor's bid before any award of contract can take place as stated in item 12.1 Annex E of the 2016 RIRR of RA 9184. Therefore, the contractors are enjoined to have their projects evaluated by the CPES. The bank shall monitor the performance of a bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts for a period for a reported negative slippage or at least 15% in a single contract, or a reported negative slippage of at least 10% in 2 or more contracts. 8.3 Department Order Number 197, Series of 2016, revised guidelines in the preparation of approved budget for the contract to be used by the contractors in the preparation of their unit prices. The following items shall not be subjected to overhead contingencies and miscellaneous and profit markup, mobilization and demobilization, provision of service vehicle, permits, and clearances. The following non-civil work items shall not be subjected to OCL markup: field and or laboratory office and living quarters rental basis, furnishing of furniture, laboratory equipment, survey equipment and consumables, assistance to the engineers, photographs, health and safety, traffic management, environmental compliance and communication equipment, and others. Per a numbered memorandum dated July 15, 2025, value-added tax component shall be 12%. 8.4 Department Order Number 28, Series of 2024. 3. Strike policy in the procurement of infrastructure, goods, and consulting services contracts, wherein it states, among others, that classification of offenses that triggers the 3-strike policy. First, withdrawal from the bidding process, submission of a non-participation letter, or failure to submit a bid after purchasing bid documents. Next is submission of late bids without valid reasons as determined by the bank. Next is the submission of patently insufficient bid. For item 8.5, Department Order Number 227, Series of 2024, suspension of Department Order Number 148, Series of 2024. In order to address the foreseen delay in the implementation of new infrastructure projects due to the unavailability of DPWH accredited project engineers who are currently assigned to contractors and consultants to ongoing projects, the implementation of the Department Order Number 148, Series of 2024, RED, guidelines in the accreditation and assignment of contractors and consultants project engineers is hereby suspended until further notice. This directive to suspend the application of Department Order Number 148, Series of 2024 shall not apply to the implementation and construction of buildings and bridges. Thus, for construction of buildings and bridges, accredited project engineers shall be assigned by the contractors and/or consultants. Item 8.6, Department Order Number 110, Series of 2024, implementation of ISO 9001:2015 certification requirements for large A, medium B, and medium A contractors in the procurement of infrastructure projects of the department. Accordingly, all procuring entities with the department are required to include ISO 9001:2015 certification or its latest version as applicable as part of the project requirements in the bidding documents for infrastructure projects. This requirement applies to bidders classified under the following Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board, size range, and are participating in the department's procurement of infrastructure project with approved budget for the contract range to wit. Pickup size range, large A, allowable range of contract cost more than 300 million but less than 450 million. Effectivity January 1, 2025. Pickup size range medium B, allowable range of contract more than 150 million but less than 300 million. Effectivity July 1st, 2025. Pickup size range medium A, allowable range of contract cost more than 30 million but less than 150 million with the effectivity on January 1, 2026. Item 8.7, Department Order Number 241, Series of 2024, Guidelines on the Processing, Approval, and Reporting System of Construction Safety and Health Program for DPWH Infrastructure Project. First, the contractor shall submit the CSHP not later than 3 calendar days from the issuance of notice of award to give time for its evaluation and approval. Next, the head of the implementing office, upon the recommendation of the CHHP focal person, shall approve the CHHP not later than 7 calendar days from the issuance of the NOA to the contractor. Next, the DPWH approved CHHP is a requirement for the processing and approval of the contract agreement. Moreover, no claims by the contractor like advance payment, first progress billing, shall be processed and paid without the submission of DPWH approved CSHP. The DPWH will only approve the CSHP through a form prescribed by the DOLE, if found in order. The DPWH project shall not be implemented without the approved construction, safety, and health program by the head of the DPWH implementing office. Submission of bids. Shown below are the dates of availability of the bidding documents that may be acquired by the interested bidders and its corresponding applicable fees. For contract ID number 24HA0179, applicable fee is 10,000. The date of availability will be on the 25th of November to the 16th of December until 10 a.m. For contract ID number 25HA0131, applicable fee is 25,000 with the same date of availability as mentioned. For 25HA0132, applicable fee is 10,000, still with the same availability dates as previously mentioned. For contract ID number 25HA0133, applicable fee is still 10,000 and still with the same date of availability from 25 November up to 16 December until 10 a.m. Upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the Government Procurement Policy Board, the interested bidder shall get the bidding documents from the Procurement Staff Office, DPWH Bohol First DEO, the O District at Bagongbanua City, Bohol. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically or online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, the guidelines for the preparation and submission of an electronic bid are contained in the bidding documents. Bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat for manual submission or at electronic bids that _Bohol1 at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic submission on the schedule, which is on or before 12 noon of December 16, 2025. Late bids shall not be accepted. Bid opening shall be on December 16, 2025, 1:30 p.m. at BAC Conference Room, DPWH Bohol First DEO, the O District of Bagongbanua City, Bohol, and shall be streamed to our YouTube channel. Bids will be opened in the presence of bidders, representatives who choose to attend the opening of bids. Bids shall be submitted by the bidder himself or his authorized liaison officer. Additional provisions in the invitation to bid. As provided in section 54.1 of the IRR of RA 12009, bidders shall submit their bids through their respective duly authorized representatives. 4.2. To further clarify, the bidder's representative must be named in the contractor's registration certificate or CRC recorded in the DPWH Civil Works application. Otherwise, there must be a duly signed and notarized special power of attorney for sole proprietorship or board, partnership, joint ventures resolution with secondary certificate for corporation, partnership, joint venture, cooperative, presented in the hard copy and a soft copy thereof, must also be emailed to the racines.mary_novelan@dpwh.gov.ph using the official email of the bidder registered in the Civil Works application for verification. Failure to send a copy of the documents mentioned above from the official CWA registered email address of the bidder shall result in the bidder not being issued an order of payment nor being allowed to submit and/or draft bid proposals. For further information, please refer to Engineer Mary Llewellyn F. Racines, Engineer 3, Procurement Head Back Secretariat, Procurement Staff, DPWH Bohol 1st District Engineering Office, Balilihan City. Telephone number 038-422-8317, local 62030, and an email address racines.mary_novelan@dpwh.gov.ph. And to Engineer Julius Cesar Cadao, Engineer 3, Chief Planning and Design Section, Chairman, Bids and Awards Committee, DPWH Bohol 1st District Engineering Office. Telephone number 038-422-8317, local 62021, with an email address cadao.julius_cesar@dpwh.gov.ph. That would be all for the discussion. Is there any comments, questions from the prospective bidders and BAC members and those in attendance to this pre-bid conference? Hearing none, we will end the bidding conference and we will adjourn. 11:22. Thank you and